Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever lives and believes in me will never die. So Louise and I are gathered here to honor the memory of Mim Lockhart. And we're going to read together the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Just have a few lessons. First is Isaiah chapter 40. Have you not known? Have you not heard the everlasting God, the Lord? The Creator of the ends of the earth neither faints nor is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. In the Secrets of Heaven, we read the true idea of divine infinity is instilled into the angels by their being instantaneously under the Lord's view with no intervening space or time, even if they came from the ends of the universe. And the true idea of divine eternity is instilled into them by the fact that thousands of years do not appear to them as a period of time, but almost as if they had lived for only a minute. Both ideas are also instilled by means of the fact that the present with them includes past and future together. Consequently, they have no anxiety about things of the future, nor do they ever have any idea of death, but only of life. And so their whole present includes within it the Lord's eternity and infinity. And when we're reading, this is from Heaven and Hell, there are two things at the heart of heaven: innocence and peace. We say that they are at the heart because they come straight from the Lord. From innocence comes everything good about heaven, and from peace comes all the delight of that good. These two inmost qualities, innocence and peace, emanate from the Lord's divine love and move angels to their very core. Amen. I think of innocence and peace. Helped me to remember Mim. You know, I left Bernath when Mim was 8 years old, so if I ever met her, I don't particularly remember. But Mim came into my life when she came to Laurel. And at Laurel, the first impression I had was that she was the invisible person. If you went into the rec hall and you didn't see anyone, that was Mim. She'd be back in the shadows. And it took me for a while to just really get to know the person underneath that quiet, shy exterior. I don't think she knows this, but Mim actually was a factor in one of the biggest changes we had at Laurel. One year, I was looking out at the parking lot in the camp, and I saw a man get in a car, and I realized that he was about to leave camp. And as far as I know, no one knew that he was leaving camp except him. And I went over and talked to him, and I think he actually stayed after that. But I thought, I don't like an organization in which a person can leave without anyone even knowing it. And then that was reinforced the same week when I looked out at the camp and I saw Mim standing in the middle of the camp. The rec hall was behind her, and over there was the check-in cabin and the dining hall here, and just standing alone. And I thought, that's not right. She's not connected. She's not connected. It's not right that people should be at the camp and not have connections. So it was out of those two experiences and others that I decided we had to have family groups at Laurel, a place of belonging. And I think she really responded to that. I think she really came into her own when she made those really important connections. I've learned a little bit about her life. I don't know a lot, but I know that she was very effective with children. She had a wonderful sense of humor. And I know she had a brother that was killed I think the boy was 8 years old, and that must have affected the family a lot. So she had her wounds. We all have our wounds, I guess. But it was wonderful to see her at Laurel sort of overcoming those wounds and coming to be her real self. And of course, we both remember our last time at Laurel when they were having a farewell and different people were making speeches. And she gave one of the most effective speeches of any.
The shortest.
She moved up to the front and said, "You brought me from the back of the room to the front of the room." And everybody cheered. Great celebrations. So now she's left this earthly plane. And interesting to think about what her new life is like. You know, that innocence and peace, that I think she had a wonderful innocence about her. And the connections. Imagine her meeting her brother and all that. So it's good to be thinking about her and to celebrate her life. Now you've had some memories of Mim. I wonder if you'd share those.
Yes. I'm very pleased to have a chance to talk about her and think about her. I haven't actually seen her for probably 30 years or more. But during all that time, we still maintained a tremendous feeling of friendship and support and love. And we would always send each other Christmas cards and really care about what happened to each other. And so it felt like we were closer than we were geographically. A few times we would send a Christmas card and find out that she had moved and it didn't get to her, and you know, weeks later it would come back to be returned to the sender. So that was always a sad moment when we realized that we didn't quite know where she was. But she always let us know eventually where she was and we could continue. She would just send the most loving messages in her Christmas cards. I always looked forward to them because they were so sweet and so appreciative and grateful. And she just seemed to me to be a very special person. I loved the way she was. To me, she seemed to be very genuine. She was not phony in any way. She was just Mim. And I just loved that. We moved away from Bernathen in 1982, so I'm thinking that in that previous winter sometime, or in the autumn, it might have been American Thanksgiving weekend or something, I wanted to drive up to Kitchener from Bernathen for some reason, and I needed to have somebody drive with me. And for a while I couldn't find anyone, but then I found Mim, and she said, "Sure, I'll drive up with you, and I'll do some of the driving if you want." So it was fun. So it was about 10 hours up to Kitchener, 10 hours back. Non-stop conversation and fun and laughter, and it just made the time fly to have her there, and I never got tired. I was perfectly willing to hand over to her if I ever got tired, but I never did because she kept me so entertained and so full of energy that just didn't come up. There was one kind of crazy moment that we laughed about a lot, and that was when the windshield was icing up, and so I went into one of the rest stops and bought some stuff that you could spray on your windshield to keep it from getting icy. So I'm out there, she's in the car and I'm out there and I'm getting ready to squirt this, and somehow I had it wrong and I just squirted myself right in the face with this stuff. And at the moment it was very startling, but I went in and washed my face and came back out and sprayed it correctly. But for some reason after that, on the whole trip, we had to laugh about that every time we thought about me squirting myself in the face.
With antifreeze.
with antifreeze and stuff like that, you know, little things. It didn't take a lot to amuse her. She was just happy with little things. one Christmas she sent us a card that was a picture of her surrounded by all these darling little black boys. And they were just kind of looking adoringly up at her, and she seemed to be so happy in the midst of them. I thought that picture told a lot about what was happening in her life. She wasn't real good about letting us know exactly what was happening in her life, but just looking at that picture, we could see that these little boys just loved her, and she obviously loved them. And so that was kind of the story of her life. She loved the children that she had contact with and benefited them tremendously. I had heard that she had a lot of illness in the last few years of her life, but I don't really know the details about that, I'm sorry to say. I'm wishing that I had reached out to her more at the end and paid more attention to her. It just seemed like our friendship was kind of based on absence in a way. You know what, we just loved each other, and we didn't have to be together. We didn't have to keep track of what happened in each other's lives. And we still felt completely connected. So even now that she's gone to the spiritual world, I feel very connected to her. I know she was a really good friend of my sister Fran, who died last year, and I'm sure those two are having a lot of fun up there. Talking to Blue Streak like Mim and I did. And I just find it fun to think of her in the other world, gradually becoming younger, gradually becoming more and more herself, more and more delightful. She was always a wonderful person in my life. I remember one time arriving at the assembly hall, going to hang up my coat, and there she was, and she was kind of hiding behind the other coats in a way. But I was just so happy to see her. I was always happy to see her. She was just a delightful person to be with. I love her now, and I always have.
Yeah, wonderful. And let's finish our little ceremony by blessing Mim, okay? Mim, wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. And thanks for the journey.
peace be near us, build within our hearts thy home. With thy bright appearing cheer us, let thy blessed kingdom come. Come with all thy revelation, truth which we so long have sought. Come with deepest consolation, peace